Bright suns and rising moons, fellow droids. Welcome to another episode of Not the Droids podcast. I'm Danny.
And I'm Mayuri, and today we will be discussing Young Jedi Adventures Season 2, Episodes 1 and 2, titled Heroes and Hotshots, Jedi or a Pirate, The Rustler Roundup, and a New Discovery.
All of which aired on August 14th. They did drop all of what we currently have as season 2 on August 14th, 2024.
Now, I am starting to believe your theory that they are going to drop um a second half. And I do that because I was updating. So like we post the calendar slides. And so I was updating the titles for Young Jedi. And I realized because the last episode of season 1 was one title.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, like episode 11 has two titles like normal. So I have a
Yeah.
feeling that you are correct
We're
that
gonna
they're
have
going to
a
drop more and they'll finish out the season somehow like that.
yeah, I have a feeling
That
it'll
would
drop
make
right around the 4th because that's what happened last year.
Yeah, which it'll also be after Star Wars Celebration.
After Star Wars Celebration, after Andor premieres, got
Yeah,
a lot going on.
I know. We'll have to decide how to watch it.
We'll deal with that as it comes.
I just realized I was like, oh no. Um, but yes, so I was very excited. So we caught a glimpse of Wes in the shorts. I know, I see him. So we got our official introduction to Master Sia's new Padawan, Wes Sennick,
Yeah.
and he
And
was
it's funny because we watch the shorts, but the shorts like don't follow in order. Like you kind of get like
no.
glimpses of things and then kind of start this way. But then like the shorts, we already saw the new Firehawk.
Yeah, so that's where it's like what happened last season where like the shorts, I don't know how they place within the season. But like we already saw the Firehawk, we saw a lot of things that we see in
Yeah, it's
these
like it's almost like
episodes.
they took like snippets out of each of the episodes to use as a short.
Yeah.
Whereas like the first season shorts made sense because it was an intro to like each character. But now we know our
Yeah.
characters.
No, I mean, I think it was more just like some funsies to like really like whet your appetite.
Yeah.
But it was so he got introduced as a wicked flyer, like a really good flyer.
Yes.
So I thought that was a interesting data point on Wes. Especially since we did get the short of him and Kai flying, so it kind of lends more to how Kai wants to be perfect like Wes.
Yes. And now we
But
see
yeah,
this one where Wes really is
not perfect.
not
So
perfect and also very headstrong.
yeah, I was gonna say he's very full of himself. And
Yes.
I think so it's kind of nice to see. So first of all, before we even get into that, I love how Master Sia was like, so now that you're kind of getting older, we got new kits
Which
and
like
they
I
all got
didn't mention in the
capes.
shorts. I
No,
didn't
I didn't
mention
even
it and I knew it. I saw it and I just didn't bring it up when we discussed the shorts.
I gotta tell
But
you, I didn't even notice.
oh, see, I had noticed it because of Nub's uniform and I saw all the capes and I was just like, "Oh, cool. Okay, they're trying a different thing. Maybe it's just for the shorts." And then we had the episode where she's like,
Here
"Gifted."
you go. And I love their little like walk when they came out
Yes.
in them. And I was like, okay, go off. You
Work
all
it.
have tools. I was gonna say it's so funny. Like you guys have practiced your skills, so now you get capes to
Yes.
practice your skills in capes.
In
Because I always wonder, I'm like,
style.
those things must get in the way for Jedi all the
Mhm.
time.
Makes you
So
think
they
of the Incredibles. No capes. We have a whole montage of why you shouldn't have capes.
um I will say I've not seen The Incredibles, but I have seen that scene because I love
Edna
that
mode.
character. Edna Mode is literally the it.
Oh,
Um, so I liked that Wes and Kai went off on their own, kind of. It's like a way to get to know. Oh, he didn't go off on their own. Sorry. That was the short. But I like where he's like, "Well, I don't have enough space, so what's the deal?" And Nash is like, "That's why I'm here.
that's
That's
that's why we have me here.
that's why." And he's the so now that they like go into the upgrades that the Firehawk got, it is cool.
Yes.
I really do like the upgrades that it did. And I do like that Nash is very much sticking to her role as
Yes. Of
taught.
staying with, she is the pilot. Like she knows her lessons. I love Romy. Romy is back.
Yes, and he actually introduced Romy by their droid name. So
Yes.
R0M1,
Yes.
just call it Romy, which was nice. And
We
kind of
also had
flows.
another droid in this episode.
Can we just I lost my mind. I was just like, first of all, because we it's the Wrath what is it?
Rathtar's Revenge,
Rathtar's Revenge,
not
which
Reptar's.
I know I thought it was Raptar, but it still sounds like that. Salak is so dramatic. But the fact that she's also acquired a droid, um,
NX-88.
and who has such a personality as a pilot,
And
I
a non-speaking pilot. Like I'm like, oh, I get you.
yeah, I understand what you're putting down. But I thought it was great that we got two new droids right off the bat.
Yes. We're on
Um,
planet Depani. We have new gear. We have our new friend. We have new droids. And we got heroes and we got some hot shots.
yes. So, but that's where it's like it was interesting to watch the kids have the lessons from season one and they
Hmm.
have taken them in and they're reminding Wes that
Yeah.
like he should ask for help just because we're kids and you think you are great.
Yep.
Um,
But we've
I
already dealt with this villain.
we already know what she's like. I do enjoy because Wes is a Padawan, right? So we know that his lightsaber is a true lightsaber. So that little piece of dialogue that Salak and Wes had about her staff
They're
being
about,
Beskar
yep.
was everything. I was just like, thank you. Because I feel like we had a whole
We
discussion.
did about the type of metals that lightsabers could cut.
Yeah, so I thought it was like such a cute call out to be like, oh yes, the scar? Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and I liked how they split up. Did I think that RJ should be the one keeping Romy on the ship? No, like the mass difference between the two is hilarious. Unless
Yes, but RJ also wouldn't have been able to cut the wire.
that's true.
And I think like the
So
point was more so to be like they're working together.
yeah, the droids worked together with Nash.
Yes.
Kai and Wes worked together. And I love that Nubs and Liz were just distractions.
Yeah.
Even after everything got solved, the poor henchmen, right? Tota Joe and Speeds, is that his name? They got left behind. Like Salak was like, see ya, suckers. Like, I'm out of here. I got my
Yeah.
droid. We're good.
My
Which I
ginormous
thought
ship.
that ship is overly large,
Huge.
so huge. Um, but yeah, I thought that was hilarious because now I'm just like, I wonder if we're gonna circle back to the Gangles and like, is there gonna be like dissension? Is it just gonna be Salak?
Well,
I don't know. Well, we got her in the shorts, right? So like, we know they
yes.
get back together, but like, I want to see how the reunion goes for
Yeah.
that. Um, and I so like moving on to the next mini-sode.
So, as you just mentioned for the first episode, our kids are older and now they
Yeah,
have a Padawan that's being trained, which means
new
we get
yellow.
younger kids and some names.
We got two names. So we got the younglings. Lynn, I think one of them was the one who was playing darts, maybe.
I missed that one. There are seven new younglings. Six, sorry, six.
Oh, yes, six.
There's
So
six.
I thought I clocked Lynn as one of the names.
Okay. And then we
Um,
had, so
so
now
we got Zadi from
we
the
had
shorts, so
Zadi.
that's one.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure Lynn was the name of one of them.
Okay.
And then we got the one that this episode was kind of
Bren.
about,
Yeah,
Bren.
so Bren is featured in this episode. And this is a later episode, but since we're going over the names, Mira, who is so Bren was in my head, I was calling them the twins, even though I know they weren't twins. Because all we had was Zeppi's name. So Bren is the one, and then the other little girl from the shorts is Mira, who we will meet later.
Okay. Oh, so we did get the name of all three of the kids that were in the shorts
And that were in the
now.
shorts. Yes, we now have all the names of the kids from the shorts.
Okay. So this was an interesting episode. So, like in the beginning, one, I clocked Kai kneeling down to talk to
Mhm.
Bren, and I was like, "Oh, he's gotten so tall.
Yes.
He's growing up." And it was, I think that they're the most similar, and it was interesting to hear that the new younglings came from Coruscant.
Yes, so that was a like little throw out to Coruscant. And interesting that they all came from the same planet.
Yeah, that's where. So I'm like, I wonder if it's like a rotation of younglings, like they're taking them to the different.
Or maybe it's like a rotation of testing because they need to get tested if they're force sensitive. So they happen to be at Coruscant tested, and these are the kids they found that were force sensitive.
And that would kind of explain
Why all the
why.
kids are from the same location.
Yeah, and so
It's
like
a
Bren
lot of kids
is
from one planet to be force sensitive.
isn't Coruscant super populated though? Isn't it like more of a metropolis? So that kind of like
I mean, it's
I
a
feel
whole
like that
planet, I
tracks.
guess, but in my head, it was much more rare.
Well, but this is also a time in the galaxy where like the Force is it's rare, but it's
Prevalent, yeah.
prevalent. So like people would know the signs of children who are force sensitive maybe, whereas like in subsequent movies and stuff, maybe it's gotten so like deep into the lore that you don't even see the signs to be able
Yeah,
to go to the Jedi, or what Jedi would you take them to, right? So I can see why there's so many younglings.
I get it.
Um and
We're
some
on
of them,
planet Yarum.
well, so not at first,
Not,
right?
oh, that's right.
So we're they took them to Saps, which was cute, on
Yes.
like a little outing, and of course they lost one. And it makes sense that they are maybe coming for training for the first time because like they're so homesick. Bren is so homesick. I
Yeah.
love that he just like, I'm just gonna hop on a starship and go home, and
Yeah.
ends up in Pirate Town and makes a friend.
Pirate Town makes a friend, Clave Rolek.
Okay, so I was hoping to see Tabor when we went to Yarum. I was just like, wait, are we not going to see if Tabor is turning over a new leaf
No,
yet?
no.
So we have Clave, who
We didn't have Tabor in any of these episodes either.
I wonder what Tabor is doing because we got him in the short, right? Like
Yeah.
he's buying
I think it's
things.
coming. We're on, this is only episode 1 and 2, so we're
I know we're still pretty early. I think we'll get him. So his name was Clave, and I feel like he's lonely because he saw Bren and he was like, I'm gonna like you
gonna
should
help
be a
this kid.
pirate. I'm gonna help this kid. He was hungry, so
Let's steal an
so
apple.
which was very Aladdin of him, right? Like, hey,
Yeah.
here you go. Um, I don't know. I thought he seemed nice for a pirate. It was quite questionable.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, I was like, I can see why, like, I feel like he's lonely. He wants a friend. He doesn't really have henchmen.
But as we learned from Hootie, he does not pay his bills.
Listen, he's a pirate. Maybe. Also, Hootie seems like she is overcharging for parts. 200 credits?
I think she was overcharging to recoup what she had previously given to him. I don't think it was actually the cost of 200. I think it was this is
The
what's on your
10
tab.
other. Oh, yeah,
So
because she said he did it like 10 other times.
yeah, I think this is his tab.
Yeah, she's like, now you gotta pay first before you get
Yeah.
anything. Um, I did like, so it's interesting. So like at the time of recording this episode, we're still on the seventh episode of Skeleton Crew. There's one episode left. So seeing the Jedi or a pirate
Mhm.
debate in Bren kind of hit harder I think
Yeah,
because
it was very interesting. I was like, oh, this is interesting. Did they know?
yeah, I don't think, I mean, I don't know if they knew. I feel like it released early enough that maybe they had an inkling, but not
And I don't
knowing.
even
But
know if those like departments talk to each other, like kids
I
show,
know.
live action.
But that's where I was just like, it is interesting because like Bren could have very easily been like, you know what, this is so much more fun than being a Jedi.
Yes.
I want to be a pirate. I could have seen it going that way, though it wouldn't have hit home a lesson. So I
Yeah.
feel like,
Nope, we wouldn't have had our lesson. But
but
Bren
yeah,
does decide in the end, he notices that Clave is not a good friend.
no, he's not. And being a pirate is fun, but stealing is still bad.
Yes.
So actually, we haven't even talked. Do we clock a lesson? Like a solid
I
lesson?
feel like we're at this point where we really don't we're not getting the like lessons being said.
Yeah, I felt that way because like, or they're saying it towards the beginning as like a reminder. Like I feel like in the last mini they said it to Wes that
Yeah.
like you always ask help. In this one, it's like stealing is
But it's
bad.
a lot of it is like the same lessons we are getting.
Yeah, it's part of the episode as opposed to like being hammered home.
Yeah.
Which I feel like was a bait and switch for the next episode. So like the Rustler Roundup.
I would like to point out we've had a lot of Kai.
Oh my god, so much Kai. I
Like
mean, we did get a list episode in this batch of four at the
we
end.
did, but 3 out of 4.
Maybe because it's just the beginning and they're
I
just
get
like
it. I wish they would like switch up who we're focusing on a little more than they do. Because they did this last season too, where we had like the same focus and was just like, I just want, or even a team.
more.
Like,
Yeah, I feel like Rustler Roundup could have been a team effort.
yes.
And I'm hoping that they're reintroducing Bell for a reason. Like he's gonna play a big part.
Yes. Did you clock the name of the girl?
Yes. Wait, which girl?
This
Oh, there was no name.
I didn't think there was, but I'm like, she's
No,
in this a lot and talks a lot. Why doesn't she have a
she
name?
talks a lot. She doesn't. I actually wrote down what's her name. They just call them the Rustlers.
Yeah.
They don't name any of those three. But I like how they kind of set this episode up as them being the bad guys, and then you realize actually no, they're not bad. They're just oppressed.
Yes.
And I like how they like set up that like Bell is like the mayor is such a good guy and
And
all of
then
this
he's
stuff.
like already with a pitchfork as soon as they
Oh my
land.
god, it's like you land and you're like, what is happening? Excuse me. Also, the
Mayor
name
Brooks.
Mayor Brooks, grumpy but nice. He's just grumpy.
Did
Um,
you clock what these people's job is?
no.
They're nerf herders.
Okay, so that is what I thought. I was just like, they just raised nerfs. Also, what kind of name for a ram-looking bull is that? Like,
Let me give you some little Easter eggs happening here. Let me just give you a little Easter egg
how is this a
with a
thing?
quote. Our dear friend Leia, when she meets Han Solo, why you stuck up half-witted scruffy looking nerf herder?
Do you think that was on purpose? That was on purpose then.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. Nerf herder is like one of those things like that you call like it just is it is a mean name. Like, it's just like
Maybe that's why they're like, they seem very grumpy, but they're nice people. They're just misunderstood.
and
But
yeah, the creatures are called nerfs.
it's such a weird name.
But a nerf herder was used as an insult.
That's hilarious. I was like, why are you so excited about these weirdo people?
I and I feel like they did this specifically to be like, "Oh, you've always wondered what a nerf herder is?
Yeah, like what's a
Got
nerf?
you."
That's funny. No, so this is where like we technically get a lesson where it's like a Jedi never rushes into a fight.
Yes.
Um, but that's I was just like, nice. That was a good lesson, Belle. And I also like that Belle delivered this message because I feel like Wes would not have.
No. Yeah,
Because Wes in the
I
first
was very
episode
happy to
went,
see Belle back. I like Belle's Padawan energy more than Wes's.
yeah, Wes is very high. He's very Kai, I feel like.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I like where they're just like, what is better than I was like, what is better than land speeders? And we got a new animal, a Dunnel.
A Dunnel.
Um, and that's where I was just laughing because I kind of love them, but also like it's not better than a land speeder, guys. But and I was like, this is where the lightsaber stuff starts to get me because I'm like, do all those droids have Beskar steel staffs too that Bell can't fight against them? There's no
Hold on.
way. I like that like they were fighting the droids and Bell's lightsaber was ineffective. What? Again with the lightsaber inconsistency, but let's pretend these security droids in the middle of nowhere have access to Beskar steel
Or
staffs.
is Belle operating with a training saber still? Are we
He's
incorrect in thinking that they have?
I well,
But
Wes
no, because
definitely has.
Wes specifically says must be Beskar essentially because
Yeah, that's where I'm just like, I think, and we know that Belle is a Padawan, so like, and Padawans get real
life
lightsabers,
not savers, sabers.
light lightsabers.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good
Um,
while. Yes.
the nice little blooper. Um, but yeah, so I don't know. They came back, they bartered with them, and then the mayor just ignored them. I was like, this mayor, it sucks.
Yeah.
He's terrible.
Yeah, especially because Belle was like, he's a little rough around the edges, but and now he's just
A
not
little.
listening.
He was a lot of rough. I'm like, no wonder they didn't want to ask him.
Yeah.
But that's why. I mean, everything got solved, bing bang boom, just like the way.
And now we get to go on a journey with Liz.
I know. I was so excited where I was like, oh my God, it's Liz. I don't have to look at Kai this episode. Now, mind you, Kai is much better than last season. He's much more tolerable.
He is, and I think, and it's not, I have some things against Kai. My problem is that I love like nubs and I want to see our other characters. And so when I'm watching 3 episodes in a row that are very Kai heavy, I'm like, where's the rest of our team? This isn't the Kai show. This is the
I know.
Young Jedi.
Yeah, I do like that they kind of explain what Kai and Nubs are doing.
Hmm.
Especially since they're not forgetting that Nubs has super strength,
Yeah.
right? Like they're cleaning the stables, which is perfect. Um, I love that they gave Myra to Liz because Myra has a
Creatures.
lot. She likes creatures, but she has a lot of the same issues as Liz, right?
Yes.
So you see
And
Liz
you just
now.
echo though is like Kai and Wes,
Yeah,
Liz and Myra, even
yeah,
Kai and Bren.
Bren.
Like there's very
Yeah, so you see kind of them teaching the next level, like they're growing up and they're teaching the lessons that they have learned down. I feel like we're getting some fun names and some very easy ones. Like this is called a leaper. It's a creature that jumps around everywhere.
he didn't look like what I thought he was gonna look like.
No, I did not think he was going to look like a jumping mouse.
I thought he was gonna look like a lemur because the name like Zaboomafoo.
It was not what I expected at all. But I like that they have like a task from Ari,
Yes.
right? I'm just like, oh hey, we're still here with our new. Dunnell's friends because so they even said that Ari brought the Dunnells to Tanu,
Hmm.
which would make sense why we haven't seen them before. Um, I still don't believe that they're better than land speeders unless they're in heavy vegetation. That's where I would say, okay, fine.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because land speeders, they just like keep leaving them in the middle of nowhere. So I
And the
kind of,
dodging and stuff, it's a lot.
yeah. So I don't know. I like that she gets distracted by other creatures, which Liz also struggles with.
Yes.
Um, I just every time they make a decision, I'm like, that's the wrong decision always in this one. And I feel like we didn't get much critical thinking from Liz.
No, this felt more like just a journey to get to know Myra and Liz and their similarities. Like it
It
didn't.
was like a filler. It felt like it was nice to have Liz, but it felt like
It was
we have to introduce this youngling and we'll do it in the way that you would expect with Liz.
yes.
But I don't know, a lot of it felt I know we're talking about a kids show, but a lot of it felt like unnecessary.
It's just a fun filler show with creatures,
Yeah, there were a lot of creatures in
and it
this
was
one.
fine. Like, yeah, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Which one was your favorite out of this four?
I think Heroes and Hot Shots,
I agree.
mostly because I liked Romy.
No, I liked that one because like there was I feel like substance to it.
Yeah. And it felt like we saw everyone working as a team, and that was like the
Yeah.
big thing was everyone
Whereas
working together.
and the rest of them were all individual and I get it, but I'm just like I like it when they're all
I
together.
miss our crew. Like we really
Yeah.
have, like we've only seen like Nash flying places, and I'm like, oh, I wish we had some more Nash.
Yeah. So I'm hoping in the next set we get to one see Tabor. I need to know what he's doing.
I was looking at the titles, and I feel like there might be a Tabor episode coming up.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Um yeah, I think again there's only 11 episodes, but I think we'll get what we kind of want.
yeah,
So I am excited for the next set.
me too. And remember, we're not the droids you're looking for.
But we're the droids you're gonna get.